G'day ladies and gents, and welcome back to War Thunder. Today we're going to be having a look at the Delat, which is one of the new Swedish tanks to come with the new update. I've personally been grinding and spading all the Swedish tanks. The only ones that I've actually gotten from Gaijin are the CV90-120, the IKV91, and the CV90-105, I think it is. The others I'm going to be grinding and spading myself, and that's something that I've sort of set out as a little goal for myself. A little challenge, if you will, because the Swedish tanks, look, they're good, they're unique, but at the moment they are a little bit challenging. Sometimes when they're not spaded, it's excruciatingly painful, and only when they are spaded, once you have a lot of the upgrades, maybe not most, but a fair few, you tend to get a fairly decent overall tank, and this is the exact case with the Delat. It's one of those tanks that starts off being extremely frustrating and stressful to play, but once you manage to get the hang of it, and once you get a few upgrades up under your belt, particularly mobility and gun-related ones, you are pretty much swell. Like, you have plenty of advantages up your sleeve that you can exploit. And in this match, I'm going to be doing the exact same thing. I'm going to be exploiting said advantages. Now, as you can see on screen, the Delat is pretty damn quick for this battle rating. It's what I would compare to somewhere between a Sherman and an M18. It's really, really quick. But it doesn't come without a few drawbacks, of course. If you have a look at when the turret is turned 90 degrees, have a look underneath the barrel and you'll find an ammo rack sticking out of the hull. And no, that's not supposed to be that way, but it's a little glitch. The ammo rotates with the turret, which is kind of annoying, but you know what? I'll let it slide, because at least you've given us a fully fleshed out tech tree and a few fairly decent top tier jets. The Sweden map also is fairly interesting. I personally don't mind it. I think it's well laid out. I think it's a little bit cluttered, a lot of embellishments and decorations. But for the most part, it is a fairly well designed and thought out map from what I've played. So, what is the Delat exactly good at? And you're looking at it. It's good at ambush. All of the Swedish tanks are ambush tanks. That is what they specialize in. Getting the drop on your opponent and letting them absolutely have it. The Delat specializes in this, particularly with the autoloader that it comes with. It's got something like a 5-second reload or a 3-second autoloader. I'm not really sure, but it is fantastic. It's really, really nice. The Delat also comes equipped with a fairly decently powerful shell, basically the same as the PVKV, but without the long drawn-out reload. It's a little bit less frustrating than the other tanks, especially stock, when you might miss a shot. However, some of the interesting things about the Delat include the way the gun sits in the turret. You might think, well, having a look at that breech, it sits fairly central to the turret, but if you also consider the fact that the turret is a little bit big, cresting ridgelines is going to be a little bit difficult, because before you can expose that gun, you're going to be exposing a fair amount of turret. However, if your opponent's a side-on like that, yeah, pretty easy. I'm sorry, Minecraft kid. Good on you, mate. Alright, that's a lovely little kill under my belt, and hopefully I'm going to be racking up some more this match. I'm just sitting here, but that smoke has me a little bit worried, because when there's smoke, there's fire. And whilst this KV-1 and this ASU-57 have the road and are focusing on this Sherman, I'm going to sort of wait for a second, because I heard him fire, and I'm just going to make a dash for it. Sayonara, I am getting the hell out of there so I can go and deal with whatever this may be down the road, which I'm assuming is going to be a 75 Sherman, or a 76, because they all come with smoke shells or smoke launchers. Some of the other tanks on the opposing team, Centurions, Comets, stuff like that may also, but there we go. It is a 76 Sherman, an M4A1 by the looks of it. And this is something that is a threat, a big threat, because he's got a shortstop, and the shortstop stabilizer, there's no comparison. It just does not compare. It's such a fantastic little addition to tanks to have a shortstop, it makes a world of a difference when you're fighting things that don't. And so I need to be really careful. This Tiger 1 is going to push up with me and he gets ammo racked. So maybe I can make the return shot, but because I don't have a shortstop, I'm not able to deal the damage. In fact, I don't even manage to spot the guy before he makes the shot. I take a quick pot shot, but this guy realizes that I've probably got an autoloader by the second shot and he barrels me. You're going to get barreled and breached a lot in this tank. It has a massive breach. It's an anti-aircraft gun after all. But what I need to do now is get out of the way. I need to hide. And I'm assuming that this particular Sherman decided to go into cover because he doesn't pursue at all after this. I'm going to sort of sit like this, hopefully repair, and maybe that breach will be up back in a little bit. And 9 seconds, which isn't a bad reload time or repair time at all. In the meantime, I can replenish the ready rack or the autoloader, and that'll give me a little bit of an upper hand in this next engagement. So, where do I go from here? Do I wait for him to push? Do I continue to go and try and flank? Maybe I push him. And that's what I'm starting to think. Maybe he's going to come and push, but I don't think he saw me disappear. So maybe now it's my turn to push. Maybe now I have to make the decisive blow. I mark him for my team, and hopefully my team can maybe deal with him. If not, then at least they can draw his fire so I can get a flank. But someone goes down to an M4A1 Sherman, so that means that I need to make a move. I need to make a move and act quickly, and you can see I'm struggling to get through this little gap. It doesn't have great hull traverse on a slope, but it certainly does have decent hull traverse on the move, and its mobility is actually really good. So if you want to make the most of this tank, it is a flank and spanker, much like the others. Where did that Sherman go? He should have been around that corner. I have no idea. But it seems there's a T-25 and there are bigger fish to fry. Well, he's fired his gun. He hasn't really got a lot of reload time left. And goodbye T-25. There is another Sherman. I'm going to put one into him. Or it's an M18. I thought it was a Sherman. I even thought it was a Sherman at the time. Which shows you, I don't know. Shows you something. Well, that's not where it ends. Because there's another M18. I barrel him. Hopefully that's enough to shoo him off for a little bit. And I'm going to go and push this M18. Because if the M18 repairs, that's a lot of mobility on the opponent's team that I can eliminate. Jackson also comes through. I make sure I slow down before. Put one into the tram instead of the Jackson. But now he goes to push out side on. And I managed to put one into his ammo racks. Very, very easy kill there on the Jackson. Those things are really, really vulnerable. So again, much like the Delat, you're going to be wanting to get side shots. And you're going to be wanting to engage in surprise attacks. Speaking of surprise, I'm here. And there goes the M18. You see, if someone's repairing and there are no enemies in sight, you push that and you absolutely show them who's boss, because there is no way that I would let an M18 get away like that. Not on a map like this, where you can absolutely run down a street in 20 seconds and be behind your entire team. And that's kind of what I'm doing here in the Delat. I'm trying to push up and cut off the reinforcements. And if I can do that, that means that I can secure my team a nice little position on the map. Once we can take that, we can slowly push up a little bit, especially considering that it is battle mode. Have a look at where my team is positioned right now. They're sort of hanging back, and I'm trying to get them to move up with me. Try and give them some confidence that, hey, you're not going to get shot up, but it seems like they are anyway, which means that I've got a little bit of work to do, and a little bit of work comes in the form of this M6A1. He whiffs the shot, I whiff the shot, I whiff the shot again, and I'm going to wait for his 37. There goes his 37, and then I put one into his lower glacis plate, which detonates his ammunition rack. My God. Oh my word. Sometimes this tank is Muppet Town, and other times it's absolutely God mode. Sometimes you get a bit of both, and in this match we're getting a bit of both, Chief. So, Sherman, he better run, because I'm going to come for that booty. And the Delat is equipped with the engine power to do that. It is fairly mobile. I'm doing 20 kilometers an hour right off the bat, and I'm going to be moving up to 30 kilometers per hour without much of a struggle. There he is right there, and maybe I can intercept him as he rounds the corner. Maybe I can get him in that little little spot there, because there is a little spot that I can give him some surprise from. But that ain't going to happen until a little bit. And then I get shot in the back. But thankfully I get shot in the engine or the fuel tank by another Jackson. So I'm going to keep that fire burning for a little bit, maybe turn the turret, and then put it out to make sure that I'm a little bit safe. I don't know why that reload happened and stopped and then happened again, because it's an autoloader, but I guess, you know what, beggars can't be choosers. I'm still alive. Anyway, I'm going to be pushing the Sherman. The Sherman doesn't even have his turret turned towards me, put one in his side, and that is another kill. An 8th one, I believe. And I don't even want to be done at that. We still have more Americans and more British to slaughter here. It's going to get hairy, because my team is starting to lose a bit of ground, and I'm going to fall back, partially because I'm low on ammunition, and partially because my team is also falling back. So if I can be a bit more supportive on that front, instead of YOLOing forward and dying, then I'm going to be doing that. The Delatorn actually exceeds in working with the teammates, which is something that is a little bit of a plus to me, because I love working with teammates, especially random teammates. You've seen me make 2 or 3 videos in AirRB on that sort of subject, and it's just something that I enjoy. So maybe as soon as I can get this repaired, the Tiger in front of me can get a little bit of help. I'm going to try and protect his flank, because I did see something firing, and maybe, just maybe, I can provide a little bit of support in that domain. There's still a lot of enemy tanks left on the field, and I've done a fair amount of work, but there's a fair lot of work that still needs to be done before we can actually pull this through. The Delatorn is really good when they're not firing at you, but when your opponents do fire at you, you tend to take a fair amount of damage. And as you can see, the Tiger has pretty much fallen. The enemies are close to taking our cap, and I get sniped by a QF-37 Ram. That rat bastard. Anyway, the Delatorn itself, fast forwarding on, you can see we've pretty much taken the entire map. We've regained map control, and because I managed to set the groundwork in the Delatorn, which it is capable of doing, our team has managed to take the cap, and we're going to win this off this capture point. So, the Delatorn, is it actually worth grinding? I'd say if you're feeling patient, maybe if you've got some friends, maybe if you have nothing better to do, I would definitely recommend the Delatorn, simply because it just has that capability of absolutely demolishing the opponents really, really quickly if they're not looking at you. The moment they turn their turret to look at you, however, it becomes kind of stressful. And if you don't have that upgraded shell, which, like I remarked in the PVKV2 video, should be a tier 1 modification, there is no question about that. Why would you give such a crucial shell so much research behind it, almost as if it's a frustration barrier? I do believe the Delatorn is capable. However, I would like to see it at 4.7, because I think that's where it would be a better vehicle. It doesn't have any remarkable armor, it doesn't have a short stop stabilizer, and the only thing really going for it is its mobility and its penetration, which it doesn't really have anything too outstanding compared to other 5.0s, 5.3s, 5.7s, or even some 4.7s. So I think it would be really, really good alongside something like a Sherman Firefly, a sort of around like an M6, maybe some sort of T-34 or Panzer IV, but the Delatorn at the moment can be, indeed, a fair amount of fun. It's not your be-all end-all, it's no meta setter, but it is definitely something that you shouldn't be sleeping on. Anyway, ladies and gents, that's it for me for the Delatorn. I'll be spading more, and you'll probably see 1 or 2 more videos on the Swedish tanks as we go through them. Let me know what you want to see. Anyway, ladies and gents, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Stay safe from Corona, wash your hands, and I'll catch you next time.